Okay, so Toyota didn't get the memo that people want storage under the seats here, so there's a pretty easy change to fix that, and that's what we're gonna do. So don't throw away the box that it came with or damage or anything. There's a stencil on the outside of the box, and you cut that out with a box knife, and that gives you your pattern that we're gonna want. So we just slide it on in like that, and then we're going to cut out the holes. Pretty straightforward. Okay, so these, they say to align about 1/4 inch in front of the seat bolts on each one, specifically the driver and passenger side ones, so the middle ones might be a little bit off. And then I got a little paint pen, and I'm just gonna trace my lines to cut out there and then cut out in a second. They mentioned that in the centerpiece, for those with 2020 Tundra that has push button start, there's a wire that runs through here, and I'll need to be careful not to cut that in a little bit. All right, so I got one piece of the felt carpet cut out. There's this little cushioning in there, and then we need to cut out this next with a they recommend a linoleum knife. So I'll see what I'm going to use to cut that out. All right, so I'm getting these cut out, and you can cut pretty deep through these and stay in carpet. The foam layer is pretty thick under there, so just using a box knife, you can get this stuff up pretty good. You can see I got them cut out there. You just kind of do little tear cuts to get through this stuff, and it comes right up. So the wire that they mentioned, it must be under the foam, or they made a mistake. But yeah, I was trying to be careful to make sure I didn't cut a wire when I was cutting this, and there's no wire up here, so it must be under the foam. All right, let's not mention to my wife that I used this knife that I found in the kitchen for this, but it looks like a good saw, and that's what I've needed to do here. Saw out this foam. I'm gonna keep at it. Okay, let's see how I did. I had popped that out a second ago to get it started, but it was tough to pull out. There's the hole. There's the foam. There's the dog. Stuff's kind of tough to get out, so I think this bar will do it. There we go. Looks like I got a little more than I wanted out of that one. Hopefully that doesn't ruin my life later. So it's a goal of mine to not cut the wire they're talking about that runs through here somewhere, I think. So I'm gonna yank up piece by piece and try and make slow, shorter cuts through there until I can feel out the wire, and then make sure I cut around it. All right, so happy to see that that wire does have pretty good protection on it. If this is the driver's side, the instructions say to start cutting at the driver's side towards the passenger side. When you do that, you'll hit this, which keeps that wire pretty well protected. If you do cut it, it's something that's easy to splice. It's just 2 wires there, but I can see the whole guy right there, so I'm gonna stay away. Lucy, don't touch that wire, okay? There is stuff to vacuum as advertised. And this stuff, kind of peel this away. Use this, just get all the fluff off there as best as you can, so there's no reuse those in a sec. All right. Okay, we got a moment of truth here. I'm gonna find out if this thing fits. So we'll see. Who knows? Might have to do a little readjusting. Hopefully not. Holes might be a little small. We'll see. Yeah, I'm gonna have to widen out the holes just a bit. There's another view of that wire. So if you're cutting this way, you're pretty safe from hitting it. If you're cutting this way, it's a little protected, but you good chance you'll cut it. So watch out. So I'll tell you what, this appears to not quite fit right for these seat mounts. So I'm gonna have to do a little modification to it. I'm gonna have to cut off some of the pieces. As you can see, they just don't quite line up. Like this has a little gap right here, but if I were to shift that way, it'll fit here. But this is already shifted too far this way. So any shift here is gonna make that overlap even worse. And then this little cutout is just not wide enough for that, you know, for that part there. So not a huge deal. No one's gonna see this anyway. It'll be under the seat, but I'm gonna have to notch it a little bit. I'll have to cut there. This side kind of squeezed in and it looks clean on the side there, but yeah, I'm gonna have to notch there. I'm gonna have to notch there, and I'll have to do a little cutting around here. So that's a bummer. I'm not too happy about that. I don't know if I would have bought this specific model had I known that. But it'll be good, and now I'm gonna have some storage under there. All right, so take two. I did a little trim job there and here and there. Widen these holes a little bit. I lift this one so that it kind of forces in because it snapped it into place pretty good. And there they go. So I needed my cut there for sure, and I needed it there also, and I definitely needed it right there, and right here could probably even use a little bit more. I'm gonna try and cram it in now. Yeah, I'm gonna have to trim that a tiny bit more, and then we're good. So I'm just gonna finish it at that, and rest assured that I'll give a little cut there and that'll sit flush, and looks clean. So that's good. There it is from the side. It's not shaking around or anything, so good stuff. Here we go. All right, so there we go. I made my extra notch over there, and this thing's sitting pretty clean. Now I don't have to keep my jumper cables in my giant glove box anymore. They make ones that have locking tops on them, but I'm not too worried about break-ins and stuff like that, so this is good for me. All good. And time to sneak this back into the kitchen and pretend like I never used it. Almost forgot about these things. So trim these up a little bit. And the carpet you cut out, you can stick in there. Maybe keep stuff from rattling if you have anything that might rattle in there. Let's get a little soft bottom.